Hello, everyone, and hello to everyone, especially on the One Wrestling News Facebook page. We have finally come to a point to say to the WWE Universe, welcome back. Because live in-person events are back for the WWE, and fittingly, we're going to talk about my predictions for Money in the Bank, of course. But we need to get into a couple of important takeaways from last night's SmackDown. So, we'll get into it right now. Now, as I said, crowds are officially back. Thank goodness. It's been 16 months since WWE has had SmackDown with a live crowd, of course. Of course, we did have an earlier event this year with a crowd. 25,000 did come to WrestleMania in Tampa, which was an outdoor venue back in April. So I was hoping in the short run they were just going to abandon the Thunderdome and just start having shows regularly in Tampa until they could get the situation figured out, just like how AEW had Daly's Place, and they're still probably using it unless they went back on tour already. I'm not sure at the moment, but they could have done that in the short run. But long run, the Thunderdome era had some interesting moments. I'll just say we did have the golden role model, Sasha Banks and Bayley. We did have, of course, The Miz stealing Money in the Bank away from Otis. Drew McIntyre was on beast mode. Braun Strowman finally got his push, and there was some good stuff about the Thunderdome era. Don't get me wrong, even the Hurt Business, they were a part of it too. So there was some good stuff about it. But remember one thing. Professional wrestling still feels bland without a crowd. And you need a crowd because then not only do you give the wrestlers momentum, but then you give the TV audience a reason to watch. People want to see a crowd. It's obvious. So let's get into some takeaways from last night's show. First up, I have to go to Finn Balor. He is back on the main roster. So here's what happened. As Sami Zayn complained in front of a live audience about the greatest conspiracy against him was deliberately keeping him out of the Money in the Bank ladder match tomorrow, Finn Balor suddenly emerged on SmackDown. After avoiding the Master Triad's sneak attack, the Prince launched a massive counterattack that ended with the earth-shattering coup de grace. So, interesting enough, Finn Balor is back. So let's see if they're going to have a rivalry between him and Sami Zayn going down the line. I think they will. Now, if you missed the last Thunderdome show of SmackDown, there was another call-up from NXT, and that was Shotzi, who, if you don't know who she is the lady who rides in the tank, and they made her team up with Nox. And it was very interesting. Very, very interesting that they're on the main roster. Very important note we need to bring up for this Sunday's card. Originally, Bayley was supposed to take on Bianca Belair. Instead, they made Carmella take on Bianca because Carmella was actually gaining some momentum until the Thunderdome shut down. And obviously, we know that Bianca did win last night. It was a very interesting match. I will say for Carmella, if she is interested, and I know I'm being suggestive to this idea, she was using an MMA submission move on Bianca last night. So if wrestling doesn't work out for Carmella, I could see her going into the UFC. That would be very interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that on Saturday nights. So let's just go down here. This is what I wanted to talk about. Baron Corbin. Yes, I'm not joking. This guy, for the past month, has just made a complete fool out of himself. Not only did he fail to qualify to go into the Money in the Bank match, but he's had some pretty bad stuff happening to him in the past couple of weeks, where he claims he's in financial debt, he's asking for money, and it's gotten so desperate to a point that now there's a new website, and I'm going to literally type it in right now on my Chrome. So this is what I'm going to type in. Here we go. You have to type in, and I know, this is stupid. CorbinFund.com. Watch this. This is the website that comes up. I'm like, really? They're that desperate to keep Corbin as a jobber. Man, I really don't feel bad for this guy. I mean, it's going to get repetitive, and somebody's just going to have to shut him up. So I could see Kevin Owens probably being in a feud with him. It's possible. But then we don't have to go into the ending. So now, those were the takeaways from last night's SmackDown. I don't want to go into every detail because then it will make the video longer as it is. But you get the point. You know, it was great to see a crowd back last night. It was great seeing that, and it just shows that we are becoming stronger now. I mean, we do have momentum, that things are reopening overall. If WWE can come back from a global pandemic, it's certainly possible. And plus, there is some plans that WWE was thinking of initiating, and we could have some matches that we've been thinking about pre-pandemic, of course. It is still possible, but we'll see as time goes by, of course. So let's get into our card. So we're going to go to the first important note of the pay-per-view. We're going to go all the way down, and we're going to talk about the kickoff show. The kickoff show is going to start at 7 p.m. Now, the good thing about the kickoff show, if I am correct, it will be free on the free version of Peacock until 8 p.m. If I am correct. But then once you get to 8 p.m., you've got to have the Peacock Premium to keep watching Money in the Bank, which, again, I will stress this out. Compared to WWE Network, you are saving a lot of money compared to paying for WWE Network. And I will suggest this. If you have the $4.99, I would suggest getting it because you're getting a good deal with Peacock. You even get movies for that price. So I would recommend it. I definitely would. Very reasonable price for a WWE pay-per-view compared to my provider, DirecTV. They're charging $60. $60 just to watch the pay-per-view. I'm like, I already have Peacock. Why do I need to pay DirecTV to watch it? I guess because, again, this is the first pay-per-view with a live audience in an indoor arena since last year, so that does make sense. But I will say, DirecTV didn't have WrestleMania this year. They had it last year, but Alright, so let's get into it. I also mentioned the kickoff show was going to be available on YouTube, so if you are interested. Very good match for the kickoff show. We have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Dominic and Rey Mysterio, taking on the multi-time Tag Team Champs, the Usos. This is going to be a clear-cut, easy winner. You are not taking the belts off Dominic and Rey too soon. They've got to have a lengthy title run. So I'm going to say Dominic and Rey defend their championships. Okay, now we move on to the Raw side of things. And this is where I think this is too predictable here. You have AJ Styles and Omos taking on the Viking Raiders. I mean, look, there really hasn't been that much of a build-up to this match. I mean, maybe they did something last week on Raw, but I'll just be honest. I know what's going to happen here. I am expecting that Omos and AJ defend, so that way when Randy Orton comes back from his injury, best case scenario, RK Bro has a chance at getting the belts. You may be wondering, what is RK Bro? You may be wondering. That is the tag team of Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. So yeah, Randy Orton has been a tag team champ before with Edge. With I forget the name of that team. That's a long time ago. But I thought they were going to team up last year until Randy Orton turned heel. So that would have been good. But I'm hoping Randy Orton stays a face character, because if he does, that'll be good for Matt Riddle's career. And I think if they're going to get a tag team push, it's going to happen at SummerSlam. So AJ Styles and Omos defend the tag team champions to later on hopefully face the team of Matt Riddle and Randy Orton, also known as RK Bro, at SummerSlam in August. So that's my prediction. I'm hoping I'm right. And if I'm wrong and that match is not on the card for SummerSlam next month, then I don't know. Let's move on to the women's division very quickly. So we have something very interesting here. We have a rematch from WrestleMania last year. And as you remember, that match was for the NXT belt last year. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. And it's going to be the same result as WrestleMania in the Performance Center last year. Charlotte Flair adds another championship reign to her Hall of Fame resume career. Charlotte Flair is going to become your new Raw Women's Champion. You know, do I really feel bad for Rhea Ripley? I don't know, in the sense, remember, she only won the belt back in April at WrestleMania. So it's going to be hard to say right now. I mean, yeah, Rhea did deserve to win, but remember, when you have the name of Charlotte Flair, you're going to get another championship. That's how it works in this business, now, does it? Okay, men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Here are the following competitors we know right now. We have Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Riddle, Ricochet. We have John Morrison, Big E, King Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. Now, the reason why I was talking about Baron Corbin, because last month in the Thunderdome, there was a match for the King of the Ring, right? If Nakamura had won, which he did, he would become the new King of the Ring, which he did, and that's why Shinsuke Nakamura is now King Nakamura. So, very interesting how things have turned. So let's get into the men who will not have a legit chance at winning Money in the Bank. Let's X off Matt Riddle. That's obvious, because we know, as I said earlier, we are expecting Randy Orton to come back from injury in a couple of weeks, and we're hoping that Randy Orton and Matt Riddle will face AJ Styles and Omos at SummerSlam. So that match will happen. I just know it's going to happen. If it doesn't, I'll be very shocked. Drew McIntyre will be not in this picture because I just don't see him getting another championship reign. I think down the line he will be a mid-card person. I know it stinks, but that's how professional wrestling works. And plus, knowing how this is going to end up, I expect Jinder Mahal to somehow interfere with this match, because they are giving Jinder Mahal more screen time, and I think that's what they're doing to maybe push a rivalry between McIntyre and Mahal. So that's what's likely going to happen down the line. Morrison, he's going to be out of this picture. There is no question that he will have no legit chance of winning this briefcase. And then Nakamura. I'm just going to be honest. I expect Corbin to also interfere with this match too, because there are going to be appearances from Corbin, and I expect an appearance from Jinder Mahal during this match, because there's no disqualifications, so anything can happen. So there is the elimination right there. Now, as far as Raw is concerned, the only legit superstar that I think could have a chance is Ricochet. Then you have Kevin Owens. Then you have Seth Rollins. Then you have Big E. So I'm going to be honest here. If I had to pick somebody who is going to win, I am hoping that WWE does the right thing. And this is what they used to do a long time ago with these up-and-coming wrestlers. They would give them a chance to win the briefcase and successfully cash in. That's what the whole concept of Money in the Bank was based on. You know, a person who never had a chance at a main event title would get that opportunity. And I think this is Ricochet's time. I think this is it. He has to win the briefcase. Because this is his time. I really think somewhere coming up down the line, I got a good feeling he is going to end up being champion. So, I want him to win, but I think I know who's likely going to end up winning, and I think it's going to be Seth Rollins. Because, looking at it realistically, I think what they're doing is they're looking at a scenario where what could happen between Roman Reigns and Edge. They're trying to see if they could push Seth Rollins to the main event again. So I want Ricochet to win, but I think the likely winner is going to end up being Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins wins the Money in the Bank briefcase for the second time in his career. I know it stinks that I have to predict this, but I just know what they're doing here. I think they're doing it for the pursuit that they want to have Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins have a rivalry. That could be it. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have a very, very interesting card here. We have Zelina Vega, which... where's she been? Why is she in this match? I don't know why. But okay. We have Asuka, who won the briefcase last year. We have Naomi. We have Alexa Bliss. We have Nikki Cross. We have Liv Morgan. And we have our SmackDown Tag Team Champions. We have Natalya and Tamina. So, here's who I know is not going to have a chance. Not going to be Zelina. It's definitely not going to be Asuka. Why would they give her the briefcase 2 years in a row? That's stupid. Not going to be Naomi. And let's eliminate the tag team champions. Because they're going to be too busy with Nox and Shotzi. So, let's eliminate them. So it comes down to 3 women, I think, in my honest opinion, who I think have a legit chance. Now, 2 women who I really want to see win this match are Nikki Cross and Liv Morgan. Because I just think that they do deserve a push. One of the two. I would be thrilled if one of those 2 women win this match. But something tells me they're going to make Alexa Bliss go back to her old character. I know it's going to happen. There's a possibility that could happen. Or there's a possibility, and I know I'm speculating this, they're going to keep the current Firefly theme for Alexa. Because there's a possibility Bray Wyatt could be coming back for SummerSlam. So there is a slim possibility that could happen. So, I hate to say it, but I think the likely winner is going to end up being Alexa Bliss. I know it's too predictable, but I just think they're going to have a storyline where the women are going to be scared of Alexa because they know that she has a legit chance of becoming champion again. Except, again, this isn't the same Alexa Bliss that we know as the cute Disney-like character. This is a very different Alexa Bliss that's been hypnotized by the Fiend Bray Wyatt. So, again, I think she could win just because they're likely going to bring back the Fiend. I I just know The Fiend's going to come back for SummerSlam. And if he doesn't, I would be very surprised. Because we haven't seen The Fiend since WrestleMania. So, that's what I think is likely going to end up happening. Moving on now, we have Roman Reigns taking on Edge for the Universal title. And I think I know what's likely going to end up happening. I think what's likely going to end up happening is the following. Edge is going to win the Universal Championship. What's going to happen is Seth Rollins is going to come out of nowhere the same night, curb stomp Edge as he's hugging the championship. Roman Reigns is beaten. The Usos are nowhere to be found. What's going to end up happening is Seth Rollins is going to cash in the same night he wins the briefcase. 1, 2, 3. We have a new champion, Seth Rollins. Therefore, we're likely going to have a triple threat match at SummerSlam with Edge, Roman, and Seth. However, this could mean that John Cena comes back in the fall. I just think that's the logical way to do things. But there is a chance that John Cena could be facing Seth Rollins sometime in the fall. I could see that happening. There is a possibility it could. Or what you could do is, you could have Roman win, and then Roman ends up facing John Cena again at SummerSlam. There's always a possibility of that. It all depends if John Cena can still even come into the United States. We don't know if he's still in Canada, because we're still waiting to hear from Prime Minister Trudeau. There's a rumor going around that Americans are going to be let back into the Canada sometime in August. So, let's see what happens on that front. And then, lastly, it's so obvious how I'm going to predict this match. Your WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley, taking on Kofi Kingston. Sorry to say this, but Kofi Kingston is not going to win the match because Bobby Lashley is going to end up winning, facing Brock Lesnar next month at SummerSlam. I know, I hate to say it, but WWE has all these secretive plans they've been thinking since fans are coming back. And honestly, what would you rather have? Would you have Kofi Kingston battling Brock again? Well, we don't know about that, but I will say they've done a good job promoting this match, but I just don't see Kofi Kingston winning. I would be very surprised if Kofi's facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, because you know they're going to bring back Brock Lesnar. Because I just know on Monday, they're going to bring back Brock Lesnar. I just see it happening. And if they don't, then I would be very surprised. So, sorry, Kofi Kingston fans. Bobby Lashley's going to win. And Bobby Lashley's likely going to end up facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So, that's the way I see it. And I will mention that I will note something very important here. That should Alexa Bliss win, she's not going to cash in the briefcase the same night. Unless somehow they pull a coup with The Fiend. The Fiend somehow distracts Charlotte when she wins, and maybe Alexa cashes in. That's a possibility. I could see it happening. You never know with WWE. They could always pull up a trick. Especially because, again, the fans are back. So, you have to satisfy the fans and give us some surprise at least. Something we don't expect. But that's pretty much it. So, I wrap up this video by saying thank you all very much for watching. If you are going to the arena in Fort Worth, I will recommend to try to show up to the arena at 6 p.m., right. I would recommend trying to show up around 5 o'clock or 5:30 in case you have to find parking or whatever in Fort Worth. For any viewers that are watching in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Because the pre-show is going to start at 6 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to catch the Dominic Rey match I would recommend to try to be at the arena at 5 p.m. Central. So that's just my recommendation. 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Central. So 5 p.m., 5:30 Central, excuse me. Next pay-per-view prediction will be SummerSlam. And it's very interesting how we're going to have a pay-per-view on a Saturday. I don't know what WWE was thinking, but okay. At least they're going to be in a larger stadium for it. In Las Vegas. So until the next one, please take care and enjoy Money in the Bank.